Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers and we're here tonight to cover the Formula Renault Australian Championship from Road Atlanta. So I'd like to welcome our co-host Luke Emerton. How you going, Luke?
Good, Bernie. Yourself, mate?
Yeah, going really well. I was just fiddling with the buttons, and before all the viewers noticed there was nothing streaming, but I'm looking forward to tonight's race. We had 39 in the top split and another 25 in the second split for this race tonight.
Yeah, I saw about 60 odd people, I think, in the three servers that they had going for qualifying. So not the biggest turnout we've seen so far, but still a very strong amount of people trying out for this race tonight, Bernie. And as we've seen, it's been producing some really strong fields and some really close racing all the way through.
Yeah, and the guys are just out there doing a warm-up from what we understand, and we'll be into this race very, very shortly. But before we do, let's go through the point score, the top five in the Formula Renault Australian Championship. And on leading the way at the moment, Michael McCabe at 2,635 points, and then in second is Sam Sutton on 2,580 points. Third, Benjamin Smith on 2,225 points, and then fourth, Justin Strickland, 2,220 points, and rounding out our top five, Gary Hamilton, 2,195 points. So the points are very high, folks, but they also earn quite a lot of points each round, as you can see on that overlay. So we've got 2 minutes left till the start of this race, so let's have a look at our weather. So Road Atlanta here today is fairly windy with a wind speed of 11 kilometres per hour, but that track temp, a scorching 38 degrees Celsius. We've seen hotter out there, but it's still going to test the boys and their tyres today, I think, Luke.
Yeah, definitely, Ben. We got a bit longer race today with 25 laps around this 4.9 kilometre circuit, so definitely we've seen in the last, pretty much for the whole season so far, that they haven't worried about tyres with their pit stops, just a quick splash of fuel and they're out. So we'll have to keep an eye on the times tonight and just see if they will take maybe just rears or something like that with these cars. But again, these cars haven't been tested in this series over a long run yet, so definitely it'll be a bit of stepping stone for all these drivers to find out, a bit of a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely will. They're first season of Formula Renault here on iRacing, so the guys will be going into the unknown a little bit. And of course, before we get to tell you the grid, we should give a shout out to the series sponsors, and that's quickbeds.com. So if you book on quickbeds.com and use the grassroots code 1564, all that money goes back into this series, which is a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, definitely, Bernie, and been looking at having a holiday in a couple of weeks after my birthday, so yeah, I might have to check it out and give some money back to the series that we so much love bringing to everybody every week so far.
Yeah, and I'd also like to welcome any of our international viewers tonight. If you're joining us from iRacing Live, welcome. We hope you enjoy tonight's broadcast of the Formula Renault Australian Championship, round 5 here, Luke, and we're nearly the halfway mark. Next week will be the exact halfway mark. This series runs 12 rounds.
Yeah, and a typical iRacing season for those that may be tuning in for the first time is normally 12 weeks, and then we get 13 weeks where we have lots of fun races and a bit of mucking around for a week, and it gives a chance for people as well to get their iRating back up to scratch to try and get their licenses. So yeah, it's a good series and just a good amount of time for that, as the boys have finished their warm-up now, and we're about to get into this race as they start to grid up.
Yeah, so let's go through the top 5 of the grid. Ben Dow will start from pole position, followed by Benjamin Smith in second. Gary Hamilton, keep an eye on him tonight, third. Josh Rogers will start out of fourth, and rounding out your top 5 is Michael McCabe.
Yeah, and I'll quickly go through the next 5. Adam Newton in 6th, Josh Anderson in 7th, Darren Marsh in 8th, James Dean in 9th, and Mark Rayner rounds out our top 10. Looks like the last couple of cars now getting set ready for a start.
Yeah, so it's a standing start here at Road Atlanta, so hold on to your hats here, folks. It's going to be on very, very shortly. We're under starters orders now. Revs will start to rise very shortly, and we will be underway. We're a bit of a jump start there. Wonder if you'll get pinged for that. We're underway, and it's a bit of a messy start, and as they come down to the first corner here at Road Atlanta tonight for round 5 of the Formula Renault Australian Championship, we've got cars going 5 wide down the back here.
Yeah, we've got a car round in turn 1. Looks like Colin Sooty is going around mid-pack, and big field streaming through this first corner. They're going to have to be careful going into this first lot of S's.
Oh, that's a real shame for Colin. He was so strong in qualifying earlier tonight, and that's not the way he wanted to start tonight's race.
Now looks like Joshua Skin also has gone off just before the S's there, and Jamie Greenwood has found trouble through the S's as well, so a few casualties at the first lap here.
Yeah, so we've got Benjamin Smith leading the way. Ben Dowell, he did have pole, but he just crept forward on that start, didn't he? So it's going to be interesting to see if he actually gets a drive-through for that. Gary Hamilton's now challenging Ben Dowell as they come down here. Look at them snaking for the first time down the back straight here at Road Atlanta.
And that's an awesome sight. We've heard over the last few weeks that these cars aren't too good in the draft. So it might not make as much a difference as we see as they go 3 wide there into 10A and 10B, a little further back behind our leaders. And looks like we've got a pitting, so it looks like they did ping him for that start, Bernie, as you called before.
Yeah, that's bad. Bad news there for Ben Dowell as he does the walk of shame, as I call it. He's going to have to drive all the way through, and it looks like quite a few other boys are pitting as well. I doubt this would be strategy for Ben to pit so early, considering he was up at the pointy end there.
Yeah, and with that many cars in the field too, Bernie, you'd be risking having to have a long drive through traffic if you're one of the quicker blokes coming in from the front. So yeah, I dare say for that role, and it's very hard for these cars and any car on this track with the grid being so long, and you've got only about 5 spots, and then it starts going up the hill. So yeah, these cars on a downhill slip from the start, very easy to get that false start.
Yeah, it's extremely costly there for Ben, but leading up the front at the moment is Benjamin Smith, all going his way tonight. Gary Hamilton second, Josh Anderson, keep an eye on him. We know he's quick in 3rd position, followed by Josh Rogers in 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is Michael McCabe.
Yeah, so the lead is now just going back through what's known as 10A, 10B here, one of a very many passing opportunities in this layout, really. A lot of dive bombs happening down there, and a few cars in the first lap there ran 3 wide through there, Bernie. So they'll just have to be careful with that draft. A lot of people underestimate how quick someone can come up behind on those entry on that downhill braking into there, and also you can outbrake yourself quite easily and cut the chicane.
Yeah, and you don't want to be doing that here in an open wheeler, that's for sure.
No, it's bad enough in a tin top around there, and yeah, I dare say an open wheeler might have a few more dramas.
And I'm just trying to get our telemetry updated. Ben Dowell has come back out, 34th position. So he's over 30 seconds down from the leaders, and he's got a heck of a lot of work to do in 23 laps. I doubt he's going to be able to recover from that.
Yeah, being a drive-through penalty, Bernie, I don't think he would have been able to execute his pit stop there either, unless he did. They do give you a stop and hold. I'm not sure. I can't remember the last time I had a false start on a standing start, so won't be able to tell you. But it looks like Justin Strickland here looking for a move in 17th midfield. There's a good little battle here. There's 2 by 2 as they come down into that hard braking zone we were just talking about down the hill, looking to brake at about 100 metres just before as they come in. And there's a bit of a move there. But they all go single file, they decide to back out of it, and Kane Kulmira's in that pack as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little battle pack, this one, as we jump on board with Justin Strickland, and we might do a lap around with him here on board with the telemetry, so crank up your sound, folks, and just enjoy a quick ride around Road Atlanta. interesting there, Luke. Top speed 237 kilometres per hour was Justin Strickland as he went down that back straight.
Yeah, and we had a prime position there for this battle between Kane and Mira up the front, and it was a good move there into the 10A, and that was exactly what I was talking about before. Just if you can get side by side in that braking zone, it's you give yourself a good chance. But again, as they run real wide out of that 5, I'm amazed they're taking that much corner there, Bernie. Seems to unsettle the V8 a lot coming around that corner if you go too wide, but these things seem to be doing not too bad. I think they're just keeping their foot in it.
Yeah, that was Dylan Shepherd taking that real wide line. I thought he was going to come and hit the cameraman there for a minute. But meanwhile, as we watch this battle up front, Benjamin Smith, he's taken 5.8 seconds is the gap back to Marcelo Rivera now. And then Gary Hamilton's another 1.1 seconds behind there. So Benjamin Smith really dominating this race at the start.
Yeah, and 2 ERA teammates up there as well. So they've got a strong showing again this week, as we saw last week. Boys down there doing a good job putting in the hours in the open wheelers as well, along with all their other commitments. So it's good to see them around a wide range, as a lot of these teams do have drivers that specialise in certain cars, and then others that can pretty much jump in anything, i.e. Josh Rogers, and seems to be able to be up the pointy end in pretty much anything with 4 wheels and a steering wheel.
Yeah, some of them are just, you could give them a skateboard and they'd be competitive around here. So I don't know where they get that skill from, which probably a lot of many hours practicing, I'd say.
Yeah, we've just had Gary Hamilton move up into second there, Bernie. I don't know what's happened to that the other ERA car there, but he's backed right out of it. And, might have got a cut track. I didn't quite see what happened, but he's definitely backing right out of it. He's given up 4 positions or 2 positions there, and he's back to 4th now.
Yeah, he's definitely got something going on with that car. We'll keep an eye on him. Is he going to pit? He is. He's bringing it in, so he might have some sort of mechanical failure on that car. We often see it, don't we, during the races. Guys get different mechanical failures with their sim racing gear.
Yeah, we like to call them either the mechanical gremlins, connection issues, or car issues, and he's got that thing up on the jacks as well, Bernie. So yeah, it looks like also Colin Sooty's had a bit of a problem as well. He said his screens have gone black in the chat, and hoping he didn't hit anyone. So yeah, I'm not sure, but looks like Marcelo there, his car's back off the jacks, but he's sitting in the pits for a long time, so I dare say there's definitely an issue there with hardware, or he has actually damaged the car in some way.
Yeah, so hopefully they can get that car fixed and get him out, but either way it's extremely costly, and we probably won't see him up the pointy end of this field for the rest of the night. But Benjamin Smith, meantime, is leading Gary Hamilton. That gap 1.4 seconds. So Gary's starting to make some inroads. Josh Anderson back here in 3rd. He's got quite a bit of work to do, and but we know he's pretty exciting when he gets his head down, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And we've seen over the last few weeks with Josh just staying there, and he almost snatched that win last week when the boys had a good battle right near the end, and he did an amazing job to catch right up to him. And we also saw the unfortunate race the week before that, where he was leading the race and kind of binned it near the end. So yeah, he's definitely still trying to prove himself in this series, and he's had some good results, so hopefully he can do the same. And if he just keeps these leaders in sight when it comes out of these pit stops, he might be in with a chance in the latter part of the race.
We just saw there Sean Evans going for a move, and he unfortunately didn't come off his tangled wheels and spun off, but he kept it off the fence, and he's recovered back in 10th position.
Yeah, just behind that pack, Kane Gulmira there in 12th. He's just looking to try and pull away now from this pack that we were watching before, and he's not able to shake him yet. These cars behind, they seem very similar speed with a few of the other boys there. Dylan Shepherd's one of them, right in behind him. So yeah, we'll see how this progresses, but this is going to turn out to be a good battle, I think.
Yeah, definitely will be a good battle there, and there's a good battle back here in 27th as well. Ben Dow, he was our pole position holder for the people that have just joined us, but he jumped the start, and he's in a recovery drive here. So far, he came out 34th, up to 27th, and he's about to go past Nathan Leskinen.
Now, I tell you what, he's on the warpath. If he can keep this up, and you never know, he might be an almost Madison Down-esque drive, which we've seen where Downs come from the back of the field after a spin and won the race. So, yeah, he's just on a mission at the moment, pumping out minute 19 lap times, and the boys around him are about a second or so under that. So, yeah, he's definitely going to have a good chance of making his way through this field quite quickly, especially when they start pitting as well in front of him.
Yeah, well, he did actually do a pit stop, 7.4 seconds, and so I think he's going to try and go the rest of this race without a stop. And if he can do that, then maybe he didn't get penalised. Maybe he just decided to pit very early. But I don't understand, if you're running like second in the field, what advantage would you get by pitting early?
Yeah, that's right. As I said, like it was such a big field, but he's just got to fight his way through now. And I mean, it doesn't seem to be holding him up too much. Obviously, pumping out minute 19 lap times, and just looking at the top 10, they're pretty much around the same area until you get back to about 15th, 16th, and they start getting into the 20s. But like, it's just you make life hard for yourself, really. But again, as we've got a car off there, I can't see who that is, just off turn 2, but yeah, you just make life hard for yourself, and unless he's thinking, well, I've already got to take the time to journey through pit lane, I may as well do my service, take my penalty, and then get back out there instead of having to obviously do another out lap and an in lap again. So
yeah, I'd say that's more probably for it, and that was Anthony Winkleman that you saw in trouble there as he brings the number 96 in for service. Yeah, I could understand it, you know, if you're in a big battle and you want to get some fresh track, but pitting in second there, you're just going to bury yourself in the field and as you said, really make life hard for yourself.
yeah, that's right. I made that mistake a few times myself, thinking that an early pit strategy would be good, and then you end up in the middle of traffic that just won't let you past. So yeah, it's as I said, maybe because of the penalties kind of forced his hand a bit. But other than that, yeah, if you're going off your own back and without a penalty and just pitting for the sake of it on the first lap, then yeah, I don't really think that'd be the right call.
Yeah, and the other big gotcha is on a field this size, we've got 43 out there running. If you're at the back of the pack and you pit early, you stand a big chance of going a lap down to the leaders, and if that happens, you're forever just yielding for the rest of the race.
Yeah, pretty much, and then you've got to also make sure there that you've got enough lap speed to get your lap back and stay ahead of the leaders once they actually cycle through their pit stop. Starts to catch 22 as well there.
Yeah, so with 15 laps to go, folks, here are your top 10. Benjamin Smith is leading the way, 1.28, well, 9/10 of a second is that gap back to Gary Hamilton in second. Josh Anderson is dropping back a bit, 4 seconds down in third. Fourth, Mitchell McCabe. He's having a bit of a battle here with Adam Newton, but he's looking fairly safe at the moment. In sixth spot, we have Darren Marsh, followed by John Allett in seventh. Eighth is Kane Kujimiya. Ninth is Nathan Groudon, and rounding out your top 10 is Tim Harris. The guys that are in trouble at the other end of the field, we have had Colin Sudi, looks like he has retired with mechanical issues, as Luke said earlier, with his screen. The other ones in trouble is Jamie Greenwood and Martin Silvassi. All getting very lengthy repairs done to those cars, but Martin's still out and he's 1 lap down.
Yeah, a few issues in that first lap, Bernie, that's taken a few of our drivers out. So that's unfortunate, and it's been pretty good over the last few weeks. We've probably had no more than half a dozen retirements every race so far. So the boys, even though having a new car, are really picking it up quite quickly.
Yeah, we've had an issue here with Ben Conroy. He's dropped right back. Where is he running? 40th, with a lot of internet connection issues with him. So he'll be lucky to see this race out the way that's looking.
Yeah, just having a look now, and his connection's actually through the roof, so hopefully he can get that thing sorted and get back out on track. But yeah, unfortunately it just makes it havoc for himself and also other drivers with internet droppages. Can cause a lot of accidents and just annoyances for the person involved and also anyone else around him. Yeah,
and for the viewers new to iRacing, basically when you see a car flashing in and out like that, they generally have a high latency. So the server's trying to guess where that car is on the track, and you get some really strange side effects. That also gets very dangerous if you're in a close battle, doesn't it, Luke? Because that car can all of a sudden appear in the middle of your car and you're into the fence.
Yeah, there's been some funny instances over my career, Bernie, especially racing with the Americans in the NASCAR, and you'll be halfway around an oval corner, and all of a sudden the car appears in the middle of your car, and next thing you know you're in the fence or upside down or sliding along your roof. It's makes for quite funny viewing sometimes, but it's definitely I don't know what you could compare it to in real life racing, but maybe driving blind, looking backwards, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I remember a story from Colin Bond one night. I saw him at a event, and he was saying when he tipped his car over at the top of Mount Panorama there, he could see the road rushing by, and he, as a driver, his instinct was to hit the brake, but he couldn't understand why the car wasn't slowing down as he skidded across Skyline on his lid.
Yeah, you may as well try and put the feet out the front windscreen and try and Flintstone it to try and pull it up.
That's right. But at the moment, Gary Hamilton, he is starting to close here on Benjamin Smith, so he may have an answer here for Ben, but we know both of these guys are extremely quick. That gap, 0.4 of a second, and Gary Hamilton sets the fastest lap, a 1:18.188.
Yeah, he's taken 0.3 of him that lap, Bernie, so this gap is amazingly close now. Like, he's got a great run through turns 1 and 2 there. Just coming into this S's section, quite tricky in one of these. You don't want to take too much curve and upset the aero of the car. And again, we see him running a little bit wide around there, but in a V8 supercar, you're just bouncing the thing all over those curves to make up time, even getting two wheels on the grass. But these open wheels are a lot more disciplined, and this lap traffic just ahead, that's going to come into play shortly, and it's probably right at the wrong time for Ben to be catching this traffic as well.
Yeah, this might be a time for Ben to dive into the pits and get that car refueled for the last 10 laps if he finds it a bit difficult.
Yeah, definitely, and that's when strategy can be also forced on you as well. You either lose time trying to get past the lap traffic, or you dive in now and give yourself some track space, because it looks like that top 10's now pretty spread out there, Bernie, as looks like Gary's made the move and he's heading in the pits.
Yeah, he's going to try this undercut, isn't he, and see if that works out. We'll keep an eye on what time he does. Looking further down the field, Josh Rogers also, I'm trying to see, I think he's pitted as well. My telemetry's having a bit of trouble keeping up. Yeah, he's in 37th, and 4.8 seconds was his stop, so the guys are definitely not throwing tyres on these cars.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Anderson, our third place driver for All-Star Motorsports, has jumped in the pits as well, Bernie, and also Gary's teammate there, I think it's Aaron or Adam in there. He's popped in as well, so it looks like most of the top 10 now are making their stops.
Yeah, so Gary Hamilton stopped 4.6 seconds, Josh Rogers 4.4 seconds. The fastest was Simon Feigl. and his stop was 2.2 seconds. How much fuel can you get in one of these cars in 2.2 seconds?
Oh, I reckon surely you'd only be able to get maybe 5 litres, Bernie, I would say. I don't even know how fast their fueling rigs are. I've never actually done a race where I'd have to refuel, but I dare say it's not going to be much at all.
Yeah, so it's pretty much there. Just and here comes Ben Smith now. This is going to be important. He's reacting, so we'll see what sort of time he can get in. And of course, it's not only the pit time sitting at the bay, it's also the entry and exit that can make a big difference here.
Yeah, that's right. And just watching Gary Hamilton now as he comes through 10A, 10B and up the hill into the final complex of corners, 11 and 12. And this is going to be mighty close here, Bernie. Yeah,
well, Ben Smith's just stopped now, and he's exiting now. Where's Gary Hamilton? He's coming through.
Gary's turn 1.
Gary's going to take this, I think. It's going to be close. No, he doesn't. Ben Smith comes out back in front, so no real road there gained. If you look at their pit stops, both identical, 4.6 seconds.
I tell you what, Bernie, they're pretty much as you were, pretty much, before they pitted. So, he's had a moment there, and Gary's going to be all over the back of him, coming into the top corner. He's diving down the inside on this double right-hander onto the back straight, and he's got that move done nice and easy. Ben had a massive moment out of 5, as I said, took a bit too much curb, which you try not to do in these cars, and he's already lost a couple of car lengths there.
Yeah, it's pretty instinctive, isn't it, by a driver when they see their prey wobble a bit, they pounce, don't they?
That's it. I think he smelled a bit of blood in the water as he come up that out of 1 and saw him only just exiting the pits, and did the right thing and put a lot of pressure on him early, and got the move done.
So now it's going to be a matter of whether Ben can react to Gary. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of top-end speed Gary can do around here, and whether he can shake Ben off. I have a feeling the answer is probably no, and these guys are going to be racing to the end.
Yeah, that's right, and we've seen, as I said, they're not as strong in the draft, but these guys have been doing very similar lap times, so I dare say Gary's going to struggle to shake him, Ben, here on the last series of laps that we've got coming up now.
I'll tell you what, you're right. I don't know how at an open wheeler you can ride that curb and get away with it, because as you said, you do that in a V8 supercar, and it throws you around like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, and with the cars so stiffly sprung as well, Bernie, they tend to get really unsettled, whether it be one of these Formula Renaults or a Formula Ford. They definitely hate those curb hops. You pretty much need a flat ripple strip almost. Definitely don't encourage people to put wheels on curves in one of these open wheelers, just because a lot of the suspension work as well is relied on how stiff the chassis sprung. So yeah, hitting a curb can really unsettle it. As Gary's under a bit of pressure now. Ben's had a good run through 10A and 10B and around through 11, and he's going to have a look down here at 1, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's right up behind him now. No, he's going to tuck back in. We've seen Ben do this a few times, haven't we, where he just sort of stalks his prey and waits for those laps to count down before he strikes.
Yeah, and we saw that strategy work out last week as well, where around the faster circuit and the big carousel last corner, and the draft was, waited till the last lap and made his move then to make sure that he couldn't get another go at him afterwards. But down here, not so much, because you can make up a lot of time through those through the complex of corners in between the large straight here. So be interesting to see if he does leave it again till the last minute and just shadows him for a few laps, as we're onto the 19th lap now. So they've got 6 to go and 5 to go once they cross the line.
And Ben Dowell, meanwhile, he's steaming through the field here. He's up to 11th position now, would you believe? And he pretty much went from pole position to last and back up to 11th. So great recovery drive here.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh Anderson, after the allotted pit stops, has come back out again in 3rd spot. But he's having to deal with a bit of this lap traffic that the other boys managed to avoid. So He's losing a bit of time here at the moment. Still putting in half decent lap times, 18.4 that lap by now, but at that pace with the leaders, I think he's just going to have to set up third here and just keep the car rotating around, and yeah, just hope that maybe someone up front makes a bit of a mistake.
Which Gary just did. He got a wobble on out there on the chicane, and it was fortunate his car got a bit shaky there because Ben couldn't find a way around, which has allowed Gary to recover. Ben's putting his nose in, having a look, but he's sitting back in there. And I guess, he's just trying to fill the Gary's mirrors, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just jumping on board with Ben now. I just see the effects of this draft down this main straight. I mean, he's got a bit of a run, and we can see the draft in effect here, and he's definitely going to be able to have a go at him down here. But another way to do this corner down here to have a go is to just outbrake the guy and stay on the outside here, and then it allows you to have the inside for the switchback.
Tell you what. Gary went so deep under brakes there, but Ben's got another run now. He's going to be forced to the outside here with 4 laps to go.
Tell you what, on board that looked like they nearly hit Bernie. I don't know how close that was from the outside view, but that looked like nearly took his front wing off on Ben's car there.
Yeah, we're riding the gyro cam there, and you can just see how hard Ben is working that wheel to get this car around.
Yeah, that's unbelievable how much. I didn't notice that before, and that's way too much curb there. See how much that car slows down there, Bernie? It's just kills your momentum through there in one of these cars when you take too much curb.
Yeah, you could see just the way Gary hopped off down there. And what sort of damage can the guys do to these cars by hopping those curbs?
Yeah, if you hit one too hard, Bernie, you can manage to like bend one of the push rods there in the suspension, or worst case scenario like a wishbone. But most of the time it just really unsettles the car more than anything. The only way you really bend the chassis is if you kind of go sideways over a ripple strip, and that can bend a chassis. But normally if you just punch in the curbs like that with wheels, it's not too bad. It's just no good for your momentum, obviously. But worst case, if you hit one that hard, you may bend a push rod or even a wishbone.
Yeah, and at the very minor end of it, you lose time, which is probably more important to Ben at this stage. But that gap, 0.5 of a second, and he's starting to slowly but surely get that gap up here. It'll be interesting to see what Ben can do to pull that back in.
Yeah, I'm just mesmerised by how much he's fighting that wheel. Gets a little bit of oversteer coming in, and he's understeer coming out. And, like, obviously these guys, as we've mentioned before, is fixed setup, and it'll be interesting to see how much Gary's having to fight that car. But normally if you're fighting the car that hard, there's something normally up with the setup in the car. But yeah, you just shouldn't have to do too much wheel work like that mid-corner.
Yeah, we're jumping on board here with Gary, and we'll have a look. It could also be the telemetry that's making it look like they're jumping a lot, but we'll just keep an eye on Gary's wheel work here as he comes down off the back straight into the chicane. Yeah, I think he is working the wheel a lot less than Ben Smith is at this stage, but I think it may be some of the telemetry that we're receiving that's making that wheel jump around a lot more than what it probably is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm just on board now with Gary, and again, in sim racing, they can only simulate to they do such a great job at getting all the parameters right and everything, but still, it's pretty hard to replicate a real world car. Definitely if you find a wheel that hard in a real life Formula Renault, Formula One, any car really, there's something going on. But if the viewers at home don't know what I mean, just go and after this broadcast, go YouTube a F1 driver on board and just see how smooth their inputs are, turning in, opening the car out, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Like, they look like they're just having a bit of a picnic in the car normally when the car's working for them. Yeah,
well, it's, as a racing driver, you're brought up to to be as smooth as you can. As Ben now jumps to the outside, he's got to run, but Gary, we know Gary's phenomenal, but Ben just cuts his nose off, forces him onto the outside here. That was a very aggressive move.
Yeah, I tell you what, the race stewards will have a bit of a look at that, Bernie, I reckon. Gary's saying something over there. I'll just catch that. No, I missed it. But yeah, obviously not happy. You're not meant to make any moves in the braking zone normally, Bernie. He already made his move to the outside, and then you can't really jump in front of a car in the braking zone and jam your brakes on. So yeah, nothing from the stewards yet, but they might have a bit of a close look. I think Gary's driving with a bit of red eyes at the moment.
Yeah, the red mist would have descended because that was a very cheeky move there, as now Gary tucks in, and if he makes the same move coming into the braking zone, it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. 2 laps to go here tonight, folks, and it's anybody's race.
Yes, and apologies, there are other things going on in this race at the moment, but I think we'll just stick with these leaders for the last few laps, and we'll cut back to the rest of the field a bit later.
Yeah, and an update on Ben Dowell. He's in 10th position now, so he's in the top 10, so he'll have recovered a few points. But now Gary Hamilton will be getting this draft. It's just a matter of where he's going to make this move, and he's just got to, be calm. He's forced to the outside here. Will he cut across? No, he won't, and Ben will retain the lead.
I tell you what, if he looks at that same move next lap, I'll dare say he might even throw the kitchen sink at that corner, I reckon.
Yeah, well, he'll probably be calming down a little bit by now. With the last lap, he's going to look on the inside here.
I tell you what, Josh behind him is going to be licking his lips, seeing these two going head to head, and because they're slowing each other up, it's not going to be enough for him to catch him, but definitely they're looking like they might have a bit of a get together soon. So yeah, these boys are just got to be careful, because they're either going to completely bin each other's cars and give away the top, podium positions, or yeah, it's pretty much win it or bin it by the look of their driving.
Yeah, well, they're going side by side up there into the top chicane, and Gary backed right out of it, as he's now got to get a good run out of here if he's got any chance here, and they both get a good run. So here we go. Hold on to your seats, folks.
Yeah, a bit far back at the moment, but he's definitely pulling him in, and Ben's got to make sure he decides early where he wants to go.
Yeah, I think Gary's too far back. He's now closing in under brakes, but he's going to have to throw it through here. He does. And,
he's got to run. Might look at the inside around this last corner. He's going to force him wide. Oh, this is going to be close. This is a great finish. Oh, that's great. Excellent win there. That's some good racing from the boys. Nice and clean in the end.
Yeah, it was nice and as he runs into the side of Ben Smith. That's the equivalent of the 2-finger salute, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately they haven't bought hand signals into iRacing yet, Bernie, so that's about the only thing you can do, is give them a bit of a tap and let them know that you're unappreciative of some of their driving, maybe. And
having a look here, Simon Feigl at the moment, he's come home in 7th position. Ben Dowell, he managed to get another position on the line. He comes home in 9th.
That's an excellent drive by him. Once he served that penalty, and yeah, he'll be stoked with that, I reckon. I think that's the best he could hope for, is top 10, and to get 8th position there is awesome. And Josh Anderson there just ran out our podium for All-Star Motorsport, so good result for him again. And once again, he just proved that trying to stick with the leaders there, but obviously the two boys up front just a bit too quick tonight.
Yeah, and Marcelo did manage to get that car fixed, whatever the problem was. He came home in 25th position. Our retirements for tonight's race, folks: Ben Conroy, Michael Hammond retired, Guy Leach, Simone Galley, Reese Gardner, Igor Trendovilovsky and Colin Sudi have all retired. The guys that were struggling but managed to get across the line was Nathan Leskinen, Jamie Greenwood and Chris Henderson. So,
yeah, good race, Bernie.
It was definitely a good race, and Gary held his head in the end there, and really, I think he was a bit too gentlemanly as they went across the top of the chicane there, and he backed right out of it. He just couldn't get that momentum back. he did get it, but he just didn't have enough track to actually make use of it in the end.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes in a battle like that, Bernie, it's hard to get concentrated once you've been leading for so long, and then someone gets around you just to be able to, try and get that move done again. You just lose a bit of concentration. You've had some open track in front of you for that many laps, and trying to follow somebody else around it can upset your rhythm a bit.
Yeah, so it certainly can. It can also, when something like that happens, the guys can lose their cool too and throw it into a wall or something. But to Gary's credit, he managed to keep that thing competitive and in one piece. But let's go through the full results here tonight, and so you can see where your favourite driver finished. So Ben Smith wins tonight by only 9/1000ths of a second over Gary Hamilton. Third, Joshua Anderson, followed by Adam Newton in fourth. Darren Marsh comes home in fifth, Simon Feigl sixth. Seventh was John Allett, followed by Josh Rogers in eighth. Ben Dowell managed a good recovery drive and finished in ninth, and rounding out your top 10 is James Keane.
Yeah, and in 11th we have Nathan Groden. 12th is Mark Rayner. Justin Strickland coming home in 13th. Matt Trotman in 14th. Sean Evans, good result there in 15th. Mitchell Bennett in 16th. Kane Kukamira 17th. Riley Blythe in 18th. Joshua Skin in 19th. And rounding out our top 20 was Grant Hines.
Home in 21st was David Jellings, followed by Dylan Shepherd. Scott Goodman comes home in 23rd. 24th for Tim Harris. Marcelo Rivera had some sort of problem with that car tonight and managed to get home in 25th. 26th was Matthew Barron, followed by AJ Bear in 27th. Anthony Winkleman comes home in 28th. Jay Normoyle in 29th. And rounding out your top 30 is Ryan E.B. Harris.
Yes, and the last car on the lead lap, Michael McCabe, coming home in 31st. Then we start our group of cars one lap down. Andrew Kiss in 32. Nathan Leskinen in 33rd. Martin Slassie in 34th. Chris Henderson in 35th, was 3 laps down. Jamie Greenwood in 36th, Henderson was in 35th. Who else? Jamie Greenwood, Ben Conroy in 37th, which you mentioned before, retirement. And then the rest of our retirements, Michael Hammond, Guy Leach, Simone Jelly, Reese Gardner, a common name that a lot of people know around the sim racing community, Igor Trendafilovsky, there we go, and Colin City with the black triple screens of death, 20 laps down in 43rd, but managed not to hit anyone.
Yeah, and the black triple screens of death is probably very similar to if you're driving in a V8 supercar and the bonnet flies up and covers all your windscreen and you can't see where the heck you're going. That's probably the equivalent of it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, and sometimes your graphics card has a bit of a crash, but yet the server, you're still in the server, so you're waiting for that to recover, and obviously, especially if you're mid-corner, can be a bit interesting.
Yeah, and we've got the top 2 down in the green room, and we'll bring them up very shortly for an interview. But before we do, just a bit of a plug for our future broadcasts this week. If you like your V8 supercar endurance action, join us tomorrow night at 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, GMT plus 10, for the SDRT Endurance Series. And we're getting some big names coming in hopefully tomorrow night, so it's going to be a very good race. And it's always exciting, and they always put on a good show. But Sunday night, if you like your GT3 action, join us for the SEK Queensland GT3 Championship, and that will be on iRacing Live, so you'll be able to check the time, your local times there. But before any further, whatever you call it, wait, let's bring up Gary Hamilton, and then we'll bring up our race winner, Benjamin Smith. Hi Gary, welcome to RRTV's Combox. It was a mighty close race there, and you just couldn't quite get there in the end.
Okay guys, yeah, good battle. It was nice to break away from the other guys. So it was just down to me and Ben. Yeah, I mean the first half of the race before the pit stop, I don't know why, just sort of struggling to be consistent, and the gap sort of moving out to about 1.7 seconds, and then I managed to get that back, which was good. Really want to stick in the toe and then try and decide what you want to do, but yeah, after the pit stop, Ben made a small mistake, and not really thinking about laps to run at that point, so just take the lead there and see if you can make a gap. I couldn't seem to do it for whatever reason. Just couldn't get that gap, and so he managed to stay in the toe, and yeah, we battled pretty hard till the end.
Yeah, and we saw that move Ben did under brakes there. How much effect did that have on your concentration?
Not so much concentration, I suppose. Yeah, look, I wasn't happy with it for sure. Probably, I didn't really think it was required. He probably would have outbraked me from the outside line anyway. I wasn't going to go for a maniac dive bomb under brakes, not just yet anyway. It wasn't last lap. But the problem I really had with it is that you're doing that sort of thing. Sure, he was in front, he was clear, so we didn't hit obviously, but it's just before you're on the brakes, like just before. So I quickly swerved to the right and held off on the brake pedal, and then got the braking done before the corner. But I mean, if I didn't take that action, we would have come together, and we try to avoid that in this one. Obviously, love having the battles, but hating coming together. But luckily we didn't, and took it to the end.
Yeah, and a less experienced driver may have also jumped on the brakes, which would have possibly sent them down in the wall. But good restraint there, Gary. He's definitely made it come back there, and it was only 9 thousandths of a second, I think it was the gap between yourself and Ben at the line.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I knew we were going to push both pretty hard in that last chicane. Unfortunately, Ben was quite good there. It's probably where he had the advantage on me. I'm pretty similar everywhere else. I was probably maybe a little bit better out of the left-hander in the centre of the track, but not by much. And yeah, surprisingly on that one, I think he just went a little bit hard, and he actually got a bad run. So, I mean, you have to have a really bad run there to lose the spot. As hard as as much as I was trying, you're just staring at the car and you've got nowhere to go. So I don't know. I was keen to take to the grass or anything, but there's no real option, unfortunately.
No, but it was great action anyway, and I'm sure the viewers all appreciated the great racing you two turned on. But before we let you go, I'm just going to hand you over to Luke Hamilton to see if he's got any further questions for you.
Yeah, hi Gary. Just wondering, with the tyres, a bit longer race tonight than we've seen over the lap-wise anyway. How did you find the tyre wear and that? And obviously, we're just curious, how much fuel are you guys needing to get in that 4.5 odd second pit stop?
Look, I find the tyres are quite good on the Renault. They do wear a little bit, but it's almost the way they wear, you only lose. I mean, I don't know what lap time we did at the end there, but probably, the pace is almost the same. What sort of happens is you lose a couple of tenths, but the car balance changes a bit. And with this fixed set, it's great that everyone's on the same set. But personally, I prefer a pointier set. And when the tyres wear, they actually it goes into a little bit more of a understeer generally. But for me, anyway, maybe it's different for other guys. But so you just have to sort of adjust your driving to suit the tyre wear. But you can, like I say, you can almost get the same lap time all the way to the end. And on that, 25 laps with the fuel, I'm just looking now, I burnt a little bit below 0.9 litre per lap. So I took 10 in the stop. The thing, I think I needed just under 9, but it fuels so quickly, it'd be pointless trying to stop it at 9. It's just so fast that you just let it fill to 10 and off you go.
Yeah, we're just curious. Bernie asked me. I said, I've got no idea. I haven't done a race long enough in one of these things to need a fuel stop. So, yeah, they fill ridiculously quick. Because, I think one of the other drivers only stopped for about 2.9 seconds or something. So we didn't even know if probably get some fumes in there maybe. But, yeah, so, no, it's good to know for us and for the viewers for following weeks for how much fuel roughly you guys are needing to take on board for each race. And was there any sponsors or anything you'd like to thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, mate, big shout out to Element boys there. The other guys, so Adam, obviously in this series, had a good run, going well in the championship as well, which is important for our team championship. I think we're looking pretty good if you throw the drop round in. And the other guys, big shout out to them working on the GT3 stuff this weekend. Shout out to Huskyveld Engineering, to Adam's got some pedals of theirs. And a big shout out again to Win the Day. That's a cancer awareness group. You can look them up on Facebook. They've got some nice clothing out there, some new hats, and they've got some shirts that are available to buy, and it's for a good cause as well. Plus, they look pretty nice.
No worries, mate. Good job, and we'll see you here next week, hopefully, and good rack of points again for the championship. So yeah, looking good for mid-season.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's the goal. Just keep them coming.
So, Luke, while you warmed up there, I'll bring Ben up. And did you want to start that interview?
Yep, no worries at all.
See, I'll get you to ask all the hard questions, and I'll just slide in there with the easy ones, like tell us about your sponsor.
I had a bit more than that time.
Yeah.
Well, good evening, Ben, and welcome to the RRTV commentary box, a place you're getting quite familiar with, and congratulations on the win tonight, mate. How was your race? We enjoyed watching that battle near the end, and yeah, some good pace shown as well.
G'day, guys. Yeah, I was pretty set on getting the night off work because I really like this track, Road Atlanta. I had a run here earlier in the Skip Barbers and got a win in the World Cup, so I thought I might as well try my luck in the Formula Renaults, and yeah. So I was really happy to get on the front row of the grid, obviously, again, but really wanted to improve on my last two results of second place. So, yeah, the battling with Gary was at the start of the race. It was very, tight. We're trading tenths of a second per lap. So I was, really trying to reach the slipstream, which I did. But I just wasn't super comfortable in the car for all the race up into the I'm not sure, I think it's turn 7 up the with the bumps, and I was very clenched every time I went over there, in between 4th and 5th gear. So Gary really had the pace over me there. He had the pace over me in all the practice session as well, so it's good to come away with a victory.
Yeah, that's right, and as you say, there was just a lot of back and forth action in there, and lap times are very similar, and yeah, there's a bit of a moment there coming into 10A and 10B, that the move that you got done to get first place, and we were worried maybe the stewards might have had a bit of a look at that, but looks like all was fair in love and war in that one. But it's just an interesting move there into the braking zone, starting on the outside and once getting in front, just kind of jamming the brakes on. But yeah, was that intentional, or you're just moving to cover line? I know there's a few unwritten rules, that gentlemen's agreements with not moving in braking zones, but seemed to be everyone was not too worried about it, really.
Yeah, so laps before it, I had a run on Gary after I made the initial mistake and lost the lead, and yeah, I couldn't quite get up, and he defended the inside line really well down the whole straight, and you really need a good slingshot in this car to be able to get clear, and I didn't manage to get clear the first time, so I had 3/4 of my car in front, and I couldn't get across I couldn't get in the lead. He took the 10A quickly enough to gather the lead back, so I thought, I don't know how many laps there were to go, probably 5, 6, and I thought, yeah, I got to make the most of this opportunity to kind of assert my position, and yeah, I got my spotter called clear, so I jumped straight over, not to block Gary in front of him, directly in front of him, but to block the inside line to ensure that he couldn't overtake me under brakes on the inside. So I felt like I did it well enough before the braking zone that it wouldn't be too dangerous. I'll have to look at the replay and see what it was like for Gary from his cockpit, but yeah, it was definitely a move to consolidate my position.
Yeah, no worries. Here from where we were watching one of the outside TV views, it was looked like a pretty close call, and then on the way through on the next lap, I think he nearly touched gearbox and front wing as well, coming through one. So yeah, it was some good close racing there near the end, and the pit stops were identical really in time wise. So we thought maybe the undercut might work there, but it seemed to be that you came out just behind and pretty much was able to hold it as well from there. So Yeah, it was some good racing. And is there any sponsors, or actually, before we do that, I'll see if Bernie has any other questions for you, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to do the sponsor question, but it's great to see your new sponsor on the side, their MPMS Racing Simulators. Did you want to tell the viewers a little bit about what they do and where they are located?
Yeah, the guys at MPMS Simulators are really happy to have them on board. Located up in Queensland, so a couple of our boys from the team have head up there and have a look at what they've got. Yeah, they do anything from track days, preparing drivers for track days overseas, even preparing simulators to go in your man cave at home. So yeah, they've definitely got some great stuff. So if you jump on mpmsracingsimulators.com, you'll see the kind of thing they do, and yeah, it's great. I'd definitely love to have one of them in my house.
Yeah, and they've come on at the right time as well, because in the which race was it we covered the other day? Last night, in fact, and I can't even remember it. How pathetic's that? But Simon Feigl and Zach Hanlon, I think was carrying their logos and did a fantastic job last night at Phillip Island. So it's slowly coming back to me. And again tonight, a win. So well done.
Yeah, definitely, and can't wait to the logo out there on the world stage in the World Championship Blank Paint Series coming up next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm going to be sitting up late that night. I think it's late Saturday night our time, but I'll get a 6-pack of beer and cheer you guys on from the couch.
Yeah, kick-off's at midnight, so jump on and have a look.
Yeah, so is there any other sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, we got Maverick Welding always on board, giving us a hand. So yeah, it's great to carry their skin on the V8 Supercar and Skip Arbor.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Ben, and best of luck in the Blancpain next week if we don't catch up with you before then. And yeah, come on Aussies.
Alright, thanks for the broadcast, guys. Cheers.
Okay, Luke, well, for the comeback drive, I think I'm going to nominate Ben Dowell there. If he did get a jump start penalty, he definitely made the most of it to come home in 9th.
Yeah, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see him running up the pointy end straight away, Bernie, because that would have been pretty much a three-way battle from the lap times he was doing. That would have been an excellent race, pretty much the whole race, instead of just having two cars out there. So it'd be interesting next week to see if he can repeat the pole position and give these other two boys a run for their money.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And a couple of big scalps were... well, this race did claim quite a few big scalps. We won't go into the names, but some of them, like Michael McCabe and that, they were looking very strong during qualifying tonight, but Michael came home in 30th, and there was some other big names down there who looks like they retired from the race.
Yeah, and Road Atlanta seems a fairly favoured track amongst the iRacing community. It's good flowing track and a lot of fast corners and pretty much enjoyable to drive in any car. So hence why a few of these big names came out, but maybe just some lesser experience in those type of cars, maybe, I'm not sure, or just some unfortunate incidents or internet issues like we've had throughout the field tonight. So not as big as the ones we had at Spa at the start of the season, but obviously hardware issues and stuff with the computers is obviously a bit hard to predict. So yeah, it's always good racing all the way through the field, and it's good to see some different names up the top as well.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. The more I'm covering these races, the more we can see these hardware issues affecting drivers. We had one on the Australian Endurance Championship, I think it was. They had to get their driver to jump in when their router failed, and they had to go and replace the router. So definitely with the hardware and the failures, that it definitely creeps in like real world racing, and it's very unpredictable when it happens.
Yeah, and I guess it's sim racing's version of a mechanical gremlin, as we said before, an electrical issue that you'd have in a standard race car that we see a lot of teams have, obviously, in especially the longer enduro races and that. And I mean, it's the same for your PC. Like your PC is pretty much the brains or the motor, if you will, of a compared to say your race car. And that thing's got to run for hours on end flawlessly for you to be able to drive without any issues. So yeah, if your PC's not well maintained, just like your car, it can have issues. And I'm not sure if it's because of these recent Windows 10 PCs or if it's something else. I know I haven't bothered upgrading to that yet because of risk of hardware issues and software issues. So yeah, it might be, I'm not sure. We might have to ask the question next time and just see what kind of operating systems that these guys are running that are having the issues.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. I've actually taken the plunge and upgraded to Windows 10, and I wasn't going to, but in the end I thought, oh well, what's the worst that can happen? I can't broadcast, but it's been working well so far. And I'm also running a little fix that was on the iRacing forums that allows iRacing to, or forces it basically to balance the threads across your CPU, where before that someone found that the CPU 0 thread is doing most of the work. So yeah, so far so good, touch wood.
Yeah, that's it. And for most of our viewers, maybe their heads might have exploded, but for some of the more technical affiliated people might have enjoyed that little bit of info. But for me, I'm a bit on the fence with that one. But yeah, I understand what you're saying with the loads and that on the CPU. So yeah, it's hopefully I don't know, I might make the plunge, but yeah, as you say, what's the worst that can happen? You just have to reformat the PC and I'll go back to my Windows 7 Professional that I've had for so many years without any dramas.
Yeah, it's still probably a hassle that you can be free of for the time being until you really do take that plunge. But anyway, folks, we're getting to the end of our broadcast here tonight. As I said earlier, tune in tomorrow night at 7:45 p.m. for the SDRT Endurance Series, and the V8 boys will be turning it on. And it's an endurance series, as I said, and they will be doing over 100 laps of somewhere, and you'll have to find out by tuning in tomorrow night. It's how professional we are here, Luke. I'm right across it.
Yeah, that's it. And don't bother asking me because your co-commentator has no idea either. And yeah, if I have some spare time tomorrow night, I might jump in and say hi. And yeah, I've heard that series is growing ever so strong every week. So yeah, it's good to see something a bit different, as everyone seems to enjoy driving the V8. So yeah, another series in a V8's always a good thing.
Yeah, and once iRacing updates the V8, it hasn't had a lot of love. You know, it's running the old tyre model and the old sounds, and they have said they are upgrading the tyre model. They're also looking at the handling characteristics as well as the sound. So we don't know when it's going to come out, but when it does, I'm sure the Australian community will be very happy, especially the V8 community. And of course, on Sunday night, folks, it'll be on iRacing Live, so check your local guides there, and that is the SEK Queensland GT3 Championship. But anyway, Luke, thanks for jumping in and co-commentating this series. It's always a pleasure having you up here, and it's great to get your inside knowledge about these open wheelers.
Yeah, no worries, Bernie, and definitely enjoy watching this series. It's one of my favourite ones across iRacing, and obviously one of the only ones I can commentate on at the moment, running in the SEC series myself. And yeah, so it's always good to see. I love watching open wheel action, and especially something like the Formula Renault that provides such close racing as well as we've seen. So yeah, definitely enjoyable to watch and to help you out in the commentary box as well.
Fantastic, and I'd also like to thank all our viewers out there that tuned in for tonight's race. I hope you enjoyed our coverage here at RRTV, and I definitely look forward to having your company hopefully tomorrow night or Sunday night for our other broadcasts. But on behalf of Luke Emerton, I'm Bernie Weemers, and I'd like to wish you all a very good night.